I'll do it anyway, just in case. It's loud. First stream of the new year, and I'm not even awake to be in it. I only just woke up mere seconds ago. Well, no, I mean mere minutes ago. We return to Phoenix Wright. Spirit of Justice. We were, well, I guess we'll see where we are. We were about to cross-examine the girls. That's right. We found out that there were 2 of them in violation of Nox's Decalogue. And that one of them actually genuinely does like Trucy, probably, and the other does not. One of them is a bat, the other one is a rabbit. We don't know. I mean, this is going to come into play very soon. The fact that this bucket was not empty, or was not full. This also somehow will have to matter, I guess. Always keeps a smile on their face, whatever. The whole thing is somehow going to come down to this fake contract. I don't know what the deal is there. We'll see. All right. What do you got for me, girls? Oh, you know what? I messed something else up. Nope, never mind. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's true. I had business in the understage passage because of the upcoming trick. It was the fire trick, right? The one Mr. Rias was supposed to do? That's right. It's a very dangerous trick, so I had to make sure we were prepared for it. It was in the script, and I really wanted to see it, but I couldn't because of the accident. And she is sweating profusely as she says this. Shut up, you're gonna give it away. Anyway, I was real busy. Yeah, way too busy to have a chance to kill Mr. Rias. So their entire defense in court is, I filled a bucket with water. I couldn't be a murderer. Also, the bucket is clearly not full of water. So Betty was too busy getting ready for the next trick to have time for murder, huh? Oh no, wait, that was Apollo saying that. This is Athena. There must be some way to prove that that wasn't the case. Man, all right. Well, so we're starting off the new year with a real brain teaser here. Real tough one. Although I don't actually know which one they want me to present the bucket on. Like, the entire thing is about them needing a bucket for the trick.
Hold it!
And you were taking every necessary precaution, is that right? Of course. Every precaution. After all, it's a very dangerous trick that uses real fire. I mean, we had to be ready in case the curtain caught on fire or something. By the time people realized it wasn't part of the act, it might be too late, huh? If by people you mean Athena Sykes, then yes. Wow, a fire trick. That sounds really impressive. Your beard would go up in smoke, old man. I bet people would mistake you for a cue ball or something without it. A cue ball? Betty, don't be rude to the judge. But Betty, you know that fire trick. It is in the script, right? That isn't somehow the, because I'm thinking it was the last one, but I'm also concerned that we have to press on something to have them, like, completely explicitly say, I filled a bucket with water. So we may throw a bucket, a waterless bucket at them and kill them. I see the fire trick was a part of the script. It seems Mr. Rias was scheduled to perform it later in the show. Did you not get to see him practice it beforehand? No. During rehearsal, he said he didn't feel well, so he couldn't breathe any fire for me. Wait, let me get this straight. He couldn't breathe fire because he wasn't feeling well? My magical powers appear to be on the wane today. That's what he said. So it was just a part of his usual The Great Mysterious shtick. It's really too bad I didn't get to see the trick because of the incident, which was completely unexpected, of course. Hey. Hold it! Or is it this? You're gonna give it away. See, Bonnie, you and your big mouth. Now Lobster Boy wants to know what we're talking about. Beep, I'm sorry. Yes, well, if you were preparing for the next magic trick, I'm sure you wouldn't have had the time to commit murder. Wow, looks like the old geezer isn't senile just yet. I bet you'll live a good long life. Oh, I plan to be sitting up here at least another 10 years. 10 more years? I don't know about that. What did we discuss about inner monologues, Athena? Well, more power to you, I guess. In any case, I was so busy I didn't have the time to off anybody. Hold it! There's so much to, like... There's so much that... Well, it's just... Alright. Are you trying to cover for Betty? No, of course not. I believe in my sister. I know she'd never murder anyone. But do you think my client would? No, I believe in Trucy, too. I know she'd never murder anyone either. Well, we just ran out of suspects in that case. Happy New Year, Serp. How are you? See, you should have just kept your mouth shut, dummy. You're just making a fool of yourself. Just be nice and quiet like a good little bunny, got it? Alright. I guess I'm no help. Oh boy. It's impossible to get anything out of Bonnie with Betty right there. I slept a long time this morning, or this afternoon. There's two people that I'm watching obsessively now. There's Sleepsio, who starts at 3 a.m. and streams until like 10 a.m. most of the time. And then I watch him and then go to bed. And then Azaleus starts his stream at like 3 p.m. So if I wanted to catch both of them, then I only get like less than 5 hours of sleep. Except I've been trying to catch both. I'm basically just watching Final Fantasy XIV every waking hour all the time. But today I just slept, and then when I woke up it was already 6:05, like 5 minutes after I was supposed to start the stream. And I didn't watch Azaleus, but I guess he didn't stream today either, so. Alright, so I had to make sure we were prepared for it. That's, I guess, the statement that this is most appropriate. Objection! I hate to break this to you, Betty, but there's a big flaw in your testimony. As big as the one in that floating trick you did earlier. Ooh, harsh words. Well, let me tell you something, forehead boy. No one has ever figured out how we do our teleportation trick. There's freaking two of you. No one except me, you mean? Well, we have even better tricks up our sleeves. Huh? We do? I told you to keep it zipped. Now, don't fight, you two. Mr. Justice, what's this about a flaw in the testimony? The script has this to say about the fire trick. This will be dangerous. Make sure the fire bucket is ready. However, we found the fire bucket lying empty backstage except for a layer of dust. You didn't even attempt to get ready for the next trick, did you, Betty? You got me! Sleeps actually just got to, he just finished Stormblood. Or, no, just finished post Heaven's Word and started Stormblood this morning. He was actually very, very emotional for the event at the end of patch 3.5. Betty DeFam, you will explain yourself. There's nothing to explain. Come on, Betty. We can't hide it any longer. We might as well tell them. Shut up! You can barely take care of yourself. Don't try and tell me what to do. Well, if neither of you will explain, I guess I'll have to. The reason Betty didn't prepare for the fire trick is because she... knew the show wouldn't go on. You didn't prepare for the fire trick because you knew, didn't you? You knew that the body would be found and that the show would then be cancelled. Ugh! Making you actually very stupid. Don't be ridiculous, you insignificant speck of a man. I'm gonna yank those lame bangs of yours off. Is that what you want, huh? Objection! Whatever, they can grow back. Now stop stalling and just tell us the truth already. I can't reveal my secrets. I'm a magician. Oh, I forgot you were here. I actually did forget he was here. I forgot that we had a prosecutor even. You have been chasing the shadow of an illusory culprit, Defense. And having chanced upon a convenient target, you have let yourself get carried away. Exactly. Where's your proof, huh? The bucket that I just threw at your head? And yet I concede that the witness's taste for false words has also been proven. EverX! Happy New Year! Happy New Yearton style. Yeah, very little has happened. Although obviously you're busy or something, but I said you weren't there for the big 2000th Mentor Roulette stream. It was actually fantastic. I highlighted it, and I think everybody should watch it. It was all worth it. I'll put it that way. It was all worth it having the dozens of other Mentor Roulette streams just to have this one. Serpialien. Oh, is it a German thing? Do I not get it? Do I not get it because you made up a word in German fashion? That's why I don't get it. I advise you to confine your deceitful trickery to your magic act, witness. Grr! Deceitful trickery. As your court-appointed therapist, I'd like to add something here, Betty. You finally let yourself be who you really are. But if you continue to hide behind lies, you'll just be imprisoning your heart all over again. Humph. But all these questions mean you're trying to put me in prison for real. So I'll be behind bars either way. Does that mean you're admitting your guilt? Of course not. I haven't even had a spectacular meltdown. I can't believe you people. Every one of you thinks I did something I didn't do. You... Lobster boy, cue ball geezer, head case brat. Cerberus monk? Like the heads of the dogs? I bet it made more sense in Japanese. Cue ball geezer. Head case brat? Really? Betty, calm down. Come on now, deep breaths, deep breaths. Look, I'm not the murderer, I tell you. Then how did you know the show would be called off before the fire truck? I told you, we can't reveal our secrets. We're under contract. Contract? What is she talking about? Be that as it may, you're obviously a suspect in this case. I am beginning to see the karmic threads that make up the intricate tapestry that is this case. Huh? Allow me to summarize your assertions, defense. First, that the victim was killed in the understage passage. And second, that the witness is the witness and the accused are the only two who could have done it. Exactly. What's more, Betty knew that the body would be found, and that the magic show would then be called off. Therefore, it's reasonable to conclude that Betty killed the victim understage. I also want to point out, this wouldn't work at all in a real court case. Like, to say there was a bucket, you were supposed to fill it with water and didn't. Therefore, you knew that the production would not go on. That doesn't even come close to being circumstantial evidence. But what if Betty knew that the show would be called off for some other reason? Like what? In the course of my investigation, I found it strange that the dragon set piece fell when it did. That, in conjunction with the body tumbling from the coffin in such a dramatic fashion, all seemed too perfect for mere happenstance. Oracle Cat, hi! We're still on... It's strange to me that we're still on day 1 of the trial. Because I guess it's going to turn out that Robert Downey Jr. did it. But I don't know why we need a whole nother day of investigation to get to that point. It was as though the entire chain of events had been planned out in advance. Key. Ouch. Planned out? After deciding to take this case, I scrupulously studied everything I could about the mass media in this country. I read the newspaper, old news reports. I even browsed tabloid magazines. How very industrious of you. I'm impressed. During this process, I learned about a strange practice favored by the TV world. A practice called the hidden camera prank. Arg! Betty and Bunny, you knew about this, did you not? About the dead body appearing, the set piece falling, the show being suspended. You two were informed of this plan by Take-Two TV in advance, correct? Ugh! Is that true? So is he's gonna solve the case for us? Betty, please, let's tell them now. I can't hold it in anymore. Gaman dekinai. Dang it. Fine, you got us. These games look amusing. Yeah, I've always enjoyed the Phoenix Wright series. If anything, I think this one... I seem to not like this one. I was saying that last time I streamed it. I don't think I like it as much as the others, but part of it might be that it's so similar to the previous game. Because Phoenix Wright 1, 2, and 3 and Apollo Justice are all very similar. Like, they have the same format, where it's, you know, the sprite art and, you know, the text box, and this is here, this is there, and even if a couple, like, tiny new elements come in, it's still basically almost like an add-on to the first game, where it's just, oh yeah, here's more of the same game. After Apollo Justice, alright, enough with your candy cane. After Apollo Justice, the fourth game, I didn't stream any of those, but I played Miles Edgeworth Investigations, which is a different game. It's got sort of some of the same, like, you play it differently. You're out there walking around and talking to people, and it doesn't take place in a courtroom. You still have this like back and forth with someone who you think did a crime, but it's pretty significantly different. And then there was Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, which was a totally different art style and had a lot of like non-Phoenix Wright puzzles in it to break up the action and stuff like that. Then after that was the game before this one, Dual Destinies, which was very much the same format as this, but it was like, okay, it's all 3D, and they threw in like these bunch of new characters and new stuff. And now this game is just so similar to Dual Destinies that I'm kind of not feeling it, just because I'm used to Phoenix Wright games being different from each other now for the past 4 of them that I've played. But we'll see. The TV station paid us to cooperate with them on this plan. It was all a prank, a big setup planned out in advance. Mr. Rhea showing up dead in the coffin. The set piece falling down. It was all completely scripted. You telling me reality TV is a bunch of fake? It was all a prank? Bonnie, is this really true? But why would television lie to me? Yes, Mr. Rios was supposed to pretend to be dead. That's how it was supposed to go. So he was in on it too? That's right. He was supposed to show up dead in the coffin, and then the set piece would fall down. Trucy would be shocked and start to panic. That's how the prank script went. What? What the heck kind of prank is that? But we never thought he'd actually wind up dead. Yeah, that was the only thing that was different from the script. Poor Mr. Rios. I'm so completely lost right now. Just a prank gone wrong. Social experiment. So, I mean, because it was weird. It was definitely weird that the practice show was being recorded. And it's like, what the hell is the point of this? You have like a dress rehearsal the day before the show where you do the whole thing with effects and everything, but it's also live on TV so that people don't have to go to the show to see it. Like, I don't know, sure, whatever. But so it was actually for a prank show, and the prank was, haha, you did this magic trick, but we made it look like it failed, and then a prop fell out of the sky. Hysterical, I guess. Well, Betty and Bonnie, it certainly sounds like you have some explaining to do. All right. I guess desperate times call for desperate measures. Just this once, we'll share how it was done with you. So listen carefully. You'll never hear this kind of thing anywhere else. She had a bat under her hat. After our teleportation trick, I went down under stage. When Mr. Rios' body appeared from the coffin on stage, it was time for Betty to do her job in the understage passage. That's right. I used the remote control for the winch that connected to the dragon set piece and made it fall down. And just before the dragon fell, I called Trucy to the backstage so she wouldn't get hurt. After that, the plan was for Mr. Rias to come back to life in front of a panicked Trucy. He was supposed to laugh and fly up and away. That was how it was scripted anyway. But for some reason, he really did turn up dead, so he kind of just stayed on the ground. What kind of sick joke is that? It sounds like a terribly mean-spirited prank to me. The poor defendant was trying to do her magic show. I guess so. I'm sorry, Trucy. Whatever, it was all the ratings Raja's idea after all. Yeah, it sounds like just the kind of thing a guy like him would come up with. This is the prank plan script we got from the ratings Raja. Dang it, you made us break our contract. Now we won't get paid. Mr. Rias's body will appear in the supposedly empty coffin, which should cause a big ruckus. After capturing a bit of Trucy's reaction on film, Mr. Rias will come back to life, laughing and flying up into the air, causing another round of surprise. She knows that he can't really fly. Like, it's not going to be surprising that he flies. But where does this all leave? Where does this all leave us? Who killed the victim? And when? Yes, exactly. Those are the key questions. If Mr. Rias was only pretending to be dead in the coffin as a part of the prank, then when he was under stage, there would still be life within him. And if that is the case, then Betty, who was also under stage, may be excluded from our list of suspects. What? Witness, was the victim alive up until he entered the coffin? Oh, well, now that we've spilled the beans, we might as well show you this video. Stupid sound. Sound is messing up. Hang on. Okay, I think we're okay now. It was all a prank. I planned for the audio. There's actually a hidden camera in all of your houses. Greetings, viewers. It is I, the great Mr. Rias. We are currently in the middle of Trucy's escape trick. Having snuck through the understage passage undetected, I am now hiding backstage, preparing to play a little prank on Trucy. I am about to hide in the coffin, which Trucy will stab with her rubber sword. And when the coffin opens, ho-ho! I will be in it, acting as though I've met my maker. Can you imagine the look on Trucy's face? Then, ho-ho, I can hardly wait. He's about to hide in the coffin. It would seem the threads of karmic destiny have led us to the truth. And he's had this tape the whole time, was just being a butt. The victim passed through the understage where Betty DeFam was. And came up into the backstage area. We know this because Mr. Rias appeared to be backstage when he shot the video we saw. It appears that way, yes. And defense, you proposed the following, did you not? What if the victim was killed under the stage before being put in the coffin? But then, what about this video? This footage was taken just before Mr. Rias entered the coffin. Oh, so does that mean? Yes, it is horrible but true. The tragedy did indeed play out right there on the stage. When into the coffin where Mr. Rias was hiding, Trucy Wright thrust her blade. Arg! Arg! See? Told you so. So are you saying the incident was a tragic accident that happened during a prank? It would be an accident if the accused had no knowledge of the prank beforehand. So let us ask the accused herself. Ms. Wright, did you have prior knowledge of the prank? What? I... Tell him, Trucy. You didn't know anything about it, right? Of course I didn't. I didn't know a single thing about it. Still think you can play innocent, do you? In that case. You leave me little choice but to present this piece of evidence. It looks like some sort of note. Ugh! That's... I found this note in the dressing room after the incident. At the time, I did not understand what it meant, but it all is clear to me now. Bonnie, get the video camera after Mr. Rias comes tumbling out. And it's signed Trucy Wright. What video camera? It is a note signed by the accused, instructing Bonnie to collect Mr. Rias's video camera from him, it seems. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. I found it in the dressing room before the show. When I saw it, I realized that Trucy knew about the prank. It does bear her signature, I'll give you that much. So the defendant had prior knowledge of the prank. And hang on. I'm just wondering if it actually is. Okay, yeah, it seems to be exactly the same. We're not gonna have to point out a. Oh, they're zooming way in on it. Do I have to look again? Is the something on the W a little different? Whatever. I too sign all of my notes. Yeah, it's dumb. It would appear so, yes. When she learned about the prank to trick her, she decided to use it to her own advantage. So she thrust the steel sword into the coffin, where the victim stood chuckling to himself. Is that not what happened, Ms. Wright? Of course not. And I didn't write or sign that note. Ah, but the handwriting matches yours. All of the evidence and testimony points to you being the culprit. But I didn't do it. It wasn't me. Then explain the existence of this note. You can do that, can you not? I can't explain it. I didn't write it, so I don't understand. I didn't kill Mr. Rias. You have to believe me. Silence is deafening. Even the clown case was a little bit more fun than this. Even though it had, like, a character or two who were annoying, it was still like, it seems so, and I won't keep stopping in order to criticize the game, but it seems so extra dumb when a character they're like, okay, so it makes more, it's really more like, it's more fun when it seems like the person really would be found guilty, right? When they're like, hey, we have evidence that you went into the room and then you left the room, and we have cameras of it happening, and we have an eyewitness who says you did it, and blah, blah, blah. Here, where it's like, okay, they're pulling this elaborate prank, and we're going to say that you knew about it, so you deliberately switched swords to stab and kill the guy. Like, there's so much about it that just doesn't make sense. I'm just not a fan of this case. We'll get through it and we'll get to the next one. Usually, in all of the games, whatever the last case is the longest and most intricate, and also the most interesting. Continue struggling against the threads of your own karma if you wish, accused. Even as you are inescapably caught in the web of fate you've spun for yourself. Ms. Wright, it is time to resign yourself to your fate. No, I didn't do it. Ha! I knew it. That sweet-looking girl, a murderer? She took all of us in with that act of hers. I told you, I knew she was a homicidal little witch from the start. But I didn't do it. I really didn't. Why doesn't anybody believe me? Shut up, you killer. We won't fall for that anymore. We know that you killed him in revenge for playing a prank where he pretended to be dead. That's something that you would do. This is bad. Your Honor, I suggest we put an end to this tragedy now. She's not the witch. She's not the one summoning spectral butterflies. True. Give your official ruling and let us offer the victim's soul the last rites it deserves. Very well. I suppose I have no other choice. This court hereby finds the defendant Trucy Wright. The defense has an objection. What is it? Apollo. You. Even now you would. I won't give up, and I refuse to let either of them down. Mr. Wright, who's counting on me, and Trucy, who's put all her faith in me. Mr. Justice, the fact that you have raised an objection means that you have evidence with which to refute the prosecution's claims, correct? Yes, of course, Your Honor. Do we really have anything, Apollo? Actually, we do. There's one piece of evidence we can present here. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may proceed. As we saw in the show footage, there's no question that the defendant thrust a sword into the coffin. The defense doesn't dispute this point. But let us not forget that this was a magic show filled with tricks and illusions. We can't take everything we see at face value. So you're saying some sleight of hand was somehow involved? Yes. The defense contends that the sword the defendant used was not the cause of death. Now, what was it Trucy told me she did just before she thrust the sword into the coffin? Very well. Let us see your evidence then, Mr. Justice. But remember, you interrupted my verdict to make this claim. You will be severely penalized if I find you are bluffing. That's fine, Your Honor. This shows that it's possible the sword... Okay. He's suddenly... We've never used the swords before. Just the fact that a rubber sword exists? Because we haven't brought that up before? The way this is worded makes it sound like we're saying that there is a different course... No, we'll just go with this. Just do it.
Take that!
What's this? A sword from the show? That's right, Your Honor. This rubber sword was in the sword stand understage. During the trick, Ms. Wright was supposed to swap the real sword for a rubber sword, and she told us on record that she remembers very clearly that she did. I see. So the sword the defendant thrust into the coffin was a rubber sword, was it? Which, I said it before, but isn't it kind of silly that if the audience wouldn't be able to tell the difference between a real sword and a rubber sword, why use a real one at all? But also, if you're going to be thrusting it into an empty coffin, there's no point in switching it to a rubber sword for safety. Like, just in case somebody magically appeared inside the coffin, we better not actually stab it. But then why was a steel sword found lying on the stage? Somebody must have put the steel sword there by swapping it with the rubber one. Just after the incident occurred, the dragon set piece fell and the theater was evacuated. The real culprit must have used the resulting chaos to swap the rubber sword for the steel one. Do you not know when to give up, Stinkbug? That is not possible. Blood was found in the coffin hole. The coffin hole that the sword was thrust into. It must have been left there when the accused withdrew with the sword. That is incontrovertible proof that the sword she used was the steel one.
Objection!
But that blood could be the result of someone tampering with the crime scene after the fact. After the set piece fell and the audience was cleared out of the theater, there was plenty of time for somebody to plant that blood there. If the sword the accused used was a rubber one, then when exactly do you propose the victim was killed, given that Mr. Rios was alive when he entered that coffin?
Objection!
Finding the answer to that question is precisely why we need to continue this trial. Let me express my opinion. By all accounts, it is certainly reasonable to suspect the defendant based on the evidence, but as to the question of whether the sword the defendant used was rubber or steel, I believe further discussion is warranted. I suggest we hear from the defendant herself on this issue. Very well, Your Honor. Yes, I saved it, somehow. Too close for comfort, but still. Let's adjourn for a brief 15-minute recess. I advise the prosecution and defense to use this time to prepare. It's also kind of a... We'll see as we go further into this game, but it's a shame that the game has not shied away from being formulaic. Like, Danganronpa, of course, I would keep bringing up as a series, is one where they managed to go, yeah, even as you're going through the second, like, you're going through the second game, you're pretty savvy, but it takes advantage of that to go, here is a twist. We're not going to completely dump everything on its head, but there's going to be, we're going to make it seem like, you know, the first case, you're like, oh, okay, the first case is going to be easy, so as soon as we find evidence that it's you. And then, oh, it's not. And then you get further into it, and, oh, okay, there's going to be really bizarre ways that we find of having, okay, this person killed somebody, but they didn't know it, or you didn't know it, or nobody knew it, or like they do twist it around a bit. And then, of course, you know, in the third game, the first case does that really well, and then the last case also does that really well. Maybe no second day. I'm pretty sure there still will be a second day, because I think they're stuck with the formula. Like, there was the one case in game 2 or 3 where they're like, it's not a murder trial this time, it's a robbery, and you solve it on day 1, and they go, guess what? Actually, now that you got him off the hook for robbery, all of the evidence that you used is going to be used as evidence in his murder trial, which we think is what he's now accused of. That was a good twist. That was a good, like, shake up the formula a bit. I'm hopeful that they do something a little bit different in this game, because right now it's just too similar. Phew, that was hairy. Tell me about it. We barely made it through by the skin of my teeth. I can't say I'm crazy about that prosecutor Sadmati either. You know, with the way he says, let it go and move on, as if it's nothing. Alright, EverX, have a good night. Watch those VODs. That's what I do. Whoa, boy, am I interrupting a secret conclave of villains or something? Who is this? Oh, Robert Downey Jr. Got your next evil scheme in the works already? What do you want, real murderer? Keep making that face, champ, and everybody's gonna change the channel. Look this way, Trucy. Now smile for the camera. Let's see those pearly whites. Isn't that what the Grammari Creed tells you to do? Did he just implicate himself right now? Because nobody actually knows this? Is this a secret? Is this a secret nobody knows, and he just walked up and said, well, as I know, from having stolen your diary and looked in it, this is the Grammari Creed. Robert Dunnett, Jr. How does it feel, Trucy? Everybody online can't stop talking about you. They're calling you a real witch out there. Could this be the end of Troop Grammari? Go away, you creep. Oh, what's this? Something just charged into frame. Looks like a yellow gorilla or something. Could it be Trucy's pet? Filming is prohibited inside the courthouse. Valid. Do you want me to go get the bailiff? Don't ask him. Just do it. Just actually turn around. They are right behind you. You could reach them with your hair. Huh? Filming? What are you talking about? I don't even have a camera on me. Huh? What happened to the camera? It just disappeared right before our very eyes. Oh, it's Matrix. Okay. I'll be enjoying the rest of the Trucy show from the gallery. I put out a call for Trucy's fans to come support her earlier, by the way. Bet I'll get some great footage out of them. This is gonna be good. Hang loose, baby. He called in some of Trucy's fans, but for what purpose? Apollo? That thing Mr. Reedens just did. That was some high-level sleight of hand. Huh? Why would he know how to do something like that? I don't know, but he definitely has some serious magic skills. No way, but I thought he said magicians were all a bunch of good-for-nothings. Mr. Lawyer? That was you. Oh, hello, Bonnie. Can I help you with something? Well, there's something that's been bothering me. Really? What is it? Well, you see... Hey, dummy, what are you whispering to Lobster Boy about? Betty. Who the heck do you think you are? Are you crazy? You want a piece of this? Want a piece of this bat shoulder? You know you have to talk to me first before you say or do anything, you harebrain. Meep. Rabbits say meep. Shut your mouth, you dumb bunny. Come with me, now. Void Hunter. Did you... So Void, I actually did it. I have the Astrope now. I did the 2000 Mentor roulettes. Please address me as Hiten Styles Sama. I wonder what was bothering her. There's no way we're finding that out with Betty constantly hovering over her like that. Court is about to reconvene. Will you be all right testifying? Yes, it's just... I wonder what Mr. Reitens has up his sleeve. Oh no, it's ratings, like ratings. Ratings. I doubt he's bringing in actual fans. Yeah, probably not. I wonder what he has up his sleeve, too. Seeker of Misery. No, it was a great stream. If you, like, I went and highlighted it so that people can watch it forever and ever. It really was so much fun. For one thing, the first dungeon that I got in the stream was the twinning, which is what I was hoping number 2000 would be, because every time I do a Mentor Roulette stream, I have the Space Jam remix of that song, like, just sitting there underneath OBS, ready to go. And that was what the stream started out with, and it just got better and better from there. Aside from the 2 Castrum Meridianums, but what are you gonna do? He'd better not be trying to get under Trucy's skin right now, of all times. You're Trucy Wright, and you'll be Daijobu. Oh. There goes Apollo with his best trick. That's right. Whenever I'm feeling down, I always tell myself I'm Daijobu. Alright, I'll give it a try. I'm Trucy Wright, and I'm Daijobu. Thanks, Polly. I think I can do this now. That a girl. Good luck up there on the stand. You'll do great. This is what lawyers actually do instead of, like, rehearsing. Instead of, well, they're going to ask you this question, so what are you going to do? You're going to say this. And when you say this, don't say it like this, say it like that. No, they just tell their client, look, just go up there and you'll be fine. That's what I get paid the big bucks for, telling people they'll be fine. I'll be Daijobu. I can do this. All right, Justice, you can do this too. Time to focus on the rest of the trial.